So without further ado, we are going to welcome our very first speaker to the stage. He's part of the South African tribe. Let's give a warm welcome to Gunther. Take it away.
I believe in a world where the right education is the norm and your complacency is no longer acceptable. The reason the world is in the mess it is in today is because millions of people around the world are willing to accept whatever their governments or media are telling them. They end up following the herd to the slaughter. We can no longer stand on the sidelines and watch this carnage of our freedoms, our beliefs, our communities, and our families. We are running out of time. The world will be going into the largest economic collapse known in the history of mankind. If we do not prepare for what is to come, then millions more people around the world will slip into poverty and will be too late to turn this tide. Will you be one of them? The current help and support for communities and people living in poverty are the NPOs, the NGOs, and the charities around the world. To think that they have made any significant headway would be exactly what the governments and media would want you to believe. The truth is that poverty rises every year just because of the increase in population. Sadly, there has been no company or charity to date that can say we have turned the poverty in that community or in that country. Why is that? The saddest thing in life is that we are born with the ability to choose what we want to do in life, but then we give that freedom of choice to our governments. I want you to take back your freedom of choice while we can still make a difference. If we open our minds to new possibilities and then use our freedom of choice to put our time and effort into those possibilities, we can change the direction of our country. How do we stop the poverty cycle? How do we stop millions more slipping into poverty? There are three things that we need to do. First, we need to make a decision today that we want to be a part of the solution. Second, we need to make sure that the NPO or charity which we are helping will become self-sustainable. And thirdly, we need to make sure that that NPO we are helping will be scalable. Are you ready to be a part of the new world where poverty is reduced and NPOs and charities are self-sustainable? Our solution to this problem has been developed and designed to raise sustainable funding for the education of school children from grade 1 through to grade 12, while we reduce poverty and crime at the same time. And we do that by providing business, entrepreneurship, and self-development training for the unemployed, for the people on social grants, for the disabled, for the students that are unable to pay their fees, for the school dropouts that will never land a job, and for those people stuck in the low-income jobs. We take these community members through a values-based leadership program so that everyone understands that when we respect each other and work together, anything is possible. We help them understand how an economy works and how the money works within that economy, how a government works and why they're not there to help you. And we help them understand that if they want to break the poverty cycle, then they need to become a part of the solution to their children's education. Yes, to get this new breed of MPOs off the ground will require funding. But the big difference here will be they will become self-sustainable within 3 years and will need no further funding from the people and the companies that have been funding charities and NPOs for decades. They will also be scalable, which means that they can outpace the growth of the population and have a real lasting impact on reducing the poverty. At the end of the day, would you not rather donate for a shorter period of time to an NPO that has a process to generate sustainable funding and provide education for all that need it? There is really only one way to lift people out of poverty, and that is through education. It was Margaret Thatcher that once said, "Socialism is great until you run out of other people's money." I think she was really right. We are staring the largest economic collapse in the face if we do nothing to prepare ourselves and the millions of people around us. We will fall into a time of extreme poverty for millions of people. Make sure that you are not one of them. I invite you to connect with me and be a part of the solution. Thank you very much.
Let's give Gunther a big round of applause. And anyone love Gunther's voice? It's so soothing and inviting. I'm like, yes, I want to be a part of the change. I want to be a part of the solution. Oh my goodness, beautiful delivery. And you know, just what some of the talks we heard yesterday, some intense topics, some deep topics, but we need to start talking about these things. And Gunther, I just want to celebrate you for talking about a tough topic in such a beautiful, open-hearted way. Right? It can be dicey and almost scary to talk about governments and hire these big powers and the elite. And you just brought it down and made it inviting and really invited all of us to be a part of the solution. And I just want to share the thing that hit home for me. Like, whew, I was like, whoa, we give our freedom of choice to our governments, and that's intense. And here's what's awesome. We have a lot of different countries in this summit this week. And I think we can all relate to that in some way, shape, or form. And the most beautiful thing to me about a human being is free will. We're born with it. It's in our DNA. We are never to give that away to anyone, including, you know, a government entity. So again, just thank you for really finessing and showing up with your message and movement with such grace and inviting everyone to be a part of the solution. So let's give Gunther another big round of applause. Thank you, Gunther. All right, well, the bar is already set high. You know how we do in the purpose sphere. The first talk, we're already flowing around in the field of possibility. We're already feeling it. So we're going to keep with this energy. We're going to keep rocking and rolling.